The moment has arrived.
I pushed the button. It's going to work.
This is going to be scary good, man.
I'm sorry?
We're killing it. It's Maddie Levine with my good friend David Auken. Welcome to the Fight Banana Show.
The ruthless one, Dawson.
Hey, guys.
Our girl, Gillian, the savage Robertson.
What's up? How you guys doing?
Welcome to the Fight Bananas Show. 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, only on Fight Bananas.
Is it Tuesday already?
The best day of the week, Miss Maddie Levine. How the hell are you?
I'm doing good, my friend. Happy Tuesday. Glad to see you back safe and sound in Florida.
We're trying. We are trying, man. It is absolutely crazy out there. We are so lucky and blessed. We had a place to go to, had a good little time. The kids had some fun. Maybe I golfed a little bit. Maybe I worked on that golfing game. Just whatever.
I didn't know you golfed.
I don't. Second time in 10 years. Second time.
How'd you do?
I actually did pretty good. Pretty good. So my father-in-law golfs. It's in a golfing community, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where they live. Golf carts. There's more golf carts than cars, right? But I guess he plays multiple times a week. He's got other buddies and friends, like what old guys do when you get old and retire. So they have like a golfing thing. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Are you like an old geezer now?
Dude, yeah, I am. I don't know if you saw that video that I posted about being 40 and my life's almost over, Maddie. My life is almost
Don't say
over.
that. Oh my God. We're just getting started, baby.
I know. Talking about getting started, we have our first guest in the green room. We're going to get her on right here in a second. 5 guests: Bo Nickal, Grant Dawson, Gillian the Savage Robertson, our guy, Joe Giannetti. But real quick, I told you we did a giveaway right off the rip. Brandon Royval refractor card. The winner is Houston Ladd. He won the card. DM us. We'll mail it out to you guys right away. So there we go. We give shit away, Maddie. That's what we do.
We like to do that.
I know. Of course, guys, we'll get into Grant Dawson's win. Family of the show, Dawson will be coming later, aka the dump truck. Jesus,
bro, best
thing ever.
Moment ever.
Best thing ever, right? Best thing ever. But like I said, our first guest is on. See her there in the green room. Never talked to her before. Never had the show. Very excited about this. And let's add our first guest, Jessy Jess, to the show.
Hi.
Hello. How are you, friend?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing good.
Thanks for joining us. Looks like you're on the move.
Yeah, I'm passenger though, so I'm good.
That's all that matters.
That is.
Where are you joining us from today?
I'm in Florida this week. Just having a little vacation. Yeah.
Okay. Are you where the hurricane hit it all, or?
No, other side.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And I waited, and I made sure I had refundable tickets just in case this place got fucked up. But it's fine, so we're good. Yeah.
I am a Florida guy. I'm right here in Daytona Beach, Florida, this beautiful studio. So
oh, nice.
we
I don't
made
know
it
where
all right.
Daytona is.
Oh, no?
No idea. I'm very geographically unaware.
Honestly, when it comes to Florida, I have no clue. I'm like, if it's not Orlando, I have no idea where you are. So you're from the West Coast, right?
Yeah, I live in the Bay Area. I'm in Northern California.
Oh, okay.
I'm from Australia though, obviously, but I've been in the Bay Area for almost 6 years now.
And how's that been treating you?
Yeah, it's cool. You know, I moved out there for a specific coach and for my gym, so all I do is train. I don't really go on adventure or anything like that, but it's the lifestyle is exactly what I need to do my job, you know, so I'm pretty happy. And the weather's always good, so that makes it easier too.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I live on the East Coast, so I'm always friggin' cold. Always.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's not a good way to live, dude. It's just like, oh God. But you've gone through a lot of changes over the past year or so, but still staying in that fight life. Glad to see that it's CSA, correct?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the gym, because I mean, you speak so highly of them online and through all of this like development that or I should even call it evolution of Miss
evolution.
Jess.
I think I'm past development. I think a decade and a half in. I think we'll
call it the evolution of
I like
Jessy.
That. Yeah, I like that.
How has the team and CSA really helped you through this process?
Honestly, you know, I knew back in 2012 when I was still living in Sydney that I wanted to train under the coach that I have right now. You know, it just took me 6 years to be able to get out there. But he's been so integral in so many aspects of my career and so many aspects of helping me become who I am today as a human being, you know. And when we first started working together, I was still in the UFC and I was still fighting at 125 pounds. And he told me that he was never going to let me fight for him if I didn't move back up to 135, because he saw me killing myself to try to make flyweight. And that instantly made me really appreciate him because my coach before that kept telling me that I was going to be unsuccessful at 135 and I had to go down, but I was doing 16-hour weight cuts to make flyweight, you know, and it just didn't feel, it took all the love out of my career because all I was doing was focusing on my weight. But yeah, so coach, when I first got there, demanded that I move back up to 135, and that's been pretty indicative of our relationship over the last 6 years. Like, he very much has my best interests at heart, not just as an athlete, but also as a human being. You know, he's the person that I turn to for guidance in absolutely everything. Like, a lot of my friends know if we're like having issues, I go to coach about it. Like, coach is my guiding light in so many factors. But when I first started working with him, he knew that I was kind of getting ready to exit with MMA, and that I'd started in kickboxing before I ever went to mixed martial arts, and that was something I wanted to get back to. And he's world renowned as being one of the best Muay Thai coaches in the US. Like, he ran the US fight team for a long time. He helped develop kind of like the star team back in the day with Muay Thai. He's had some of America's greats like Kevin Ross, Chaz Mulkey, Gaston Bolaños, Gina Carano, Miriam Nakamoto. Like, all the American greats within Muay Thai have come up underneath Coach Gillian. You know, so he's very established in that. So our plan was always to go back to Muay Thai. Once I was done with MMA, it was okay, we're going to go to Muay Thai. And we're doing well so far. I'm like 3-0 so far since leaving MMA, and I just won a world title, which was cool. I have another world title fight in December, and then hopefully next year we're going to go over to boxing as well.
That's all so exciting. I mean, how many people can say that they have a leg kick TKO in Muay Thai? Because that's wild.
I have 2 now.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah. That's been my dream, though. Yeah.
I saw Jess on your IG. The next thing is December 14th, right, in San Jose?
December 14th, yeah, for Scott Coker. So obviously Scott was Strikeforce and then Bellator, and now he started up a new promotion because he really was like at the forefront of MMA in the Bay Area. He's Bay Area born and bred. And obviously we have like the Diaz brothers, Gilbert Melendez, Josh Thompson. There's so many great like MMA legends that have come out of the Bay, and a lot of them started with Scott. And so now he's started this new event, and Gilbert Melendez is a big part of that, where he's really trying to get back to having back to showcasing MMA within the Bay, because we have so many amazing gyms there, so many amazing fighters coming out of the area, and it's cool to finally have like a local platform to fight on, because I don't think we've had that in a long time.
Yeah, and I was looking at the poster and I was like, oh my God, there's a lot of killers on this one. This is gonna be a fun show.
Yeah, hell yeah. The last one was amazing. Honestly, the last one was so good. Like and because it's in a 5-rope MMA ring. And he's doing so MMA, cool, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. And then I think he's trying to get on with boxing as well eventually. But so it's cool. Like, it's kind of like the 1FC without the grappling. Like, you get to see all the cool parts of mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
And one thing, if I can go next on, Jess, is when following you on IG and all that, everything fighting wise, of course, love, huge fan, but I love everything that you do with the interviews and stuff at the bike, at the shows. How did you get into it? Do you love it? Would you want to do that for, combat sports? Would you want to take your skills to other avenues? We love this side of it. We love interviews and podcasting and shows of that stuff. And like I said, your stuff on IG is phenomenal. So hats off to you on that.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Would you want to go forward in those avenues on those?
Oh, 100%. Like, I've always known, even before I didn't start fighting till I was 21, so, but before that, and since that, I've always known I was going to be in front of the camera. Like, I love being on camera, and I'd been dreaming of working with Harley Davidson for a long time. And then I finally got that job with them, I think last year or the year before, hosting their YouTube channel and filming the product videos for harleydavidson.com. And then they started bringing me to events to do like the TikTok style man on the street interviews. And then I did one recently for another motorbike event in the Bay Area. I love doing that stuff. And I know as I'm getting ready to like wrap up my fight career, I know that that's going to be a big part of this next phase in my life. Like, I know I really want to do hosting, presenting, interviews. I've been leaning into some character acting, like movie roles and things like that, but that doesn't really get me excited the way talking to people does, So absolutely. I actually hit up PFL the other day and I was like, hey, if you guys need a female commentator, like, I gotcha, and they just thumbs up it. I'm like, it's all right. I'm going to get it.
Cool.
Yeah, good job, Jessy. But I've commentated a bunch of MMA events before, and I love doing that, and I've always got a really good response from the way I commentate. I was commentating for a show called XMMA, and they gave me a three fight contract, and then they disappeared after the first one. So I don't know what happened.
Great.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I definitely want to do more on camera stuff. So if you guys know of any jobs going, hit me up.
Absolutely, for sure. I mean, likewise.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? I feel like I've seen you. You have your own bike, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
I feel like I've seen you build a bike, or maybe just work on your own bike.
Okay.
Okay.
I did. I took it out to Vegas one time to one of my friend's shops and did a bunch of work on my bike there. But yeah, I try to do everything I can myself.
I think that's so cool. It is like,
thanks.
I don't know how to change my own oil in my car.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I have no idea.
I always say, like, in a different life, I own like 5 bikes, and like I live this like completely different lifestyle. Like, I just, maybe after like my big paycheck that I get one of these days.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for, right? I just blow all my money on motorbikes. It's so stupid.
I feel like between that, people who love cars, people like, you're just dropping money left and right.
Yeah.
But back to the boxing thing. So, I mean, you're doing so well in Muay Thai. What attracts you to the boxing world?
I think it's like, I love Muay Thai. So Muay Thai is definitely for the love of the sport, but there's no money in it. And so that's been a really hard, that was something that my coach and I discussed when I left the UFC. Because my last fight for them was May last year, and that was the last fight on my deal. And even though I lost that, we already had the plan that if I won and they wanted to renegotiate a new contract, I was still going to say no and I was going to walk away, because I was getting just so injured from MMA all the time, and I just was so unhappy. But part of our plan was, we said, it's going to be a really hard 12 months, but if we just trust the process, commit to the plan, it's going to pay off the way we want it to. And like winning my world title was the start of that, in August. That was the first thing on our list that we ticked off. And then the plan has always been to go into boxing, because there is more money in boxing, especially because one, I can already fight, and 2, I know I'm entertaining, and 3, I have enough celebrity to kind of be counted as a celebrity, like an influencer fighter. You know what I mean? So I feel like I check off a lot of boxes with that. So I'm just I've been talking about trying to rematch Paige in boxing, because we fought in the UFC, obviously. And I've been really wanting to rematch her, because I think I know she wanted to rematch me when I was in the UFC, and I think it would be a fun boxing fight. But really, I just want to fight. Like, UFC had me shelved so often for so long. I felt like I was fighting once a year, once every 18 months. And it's been really nice to just be able to be consistent and have goals. And even though the income's not the same, which is an unfortunate piece of it, I love what I do now, and so I'm hoping boxing will make the money better. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
You're onto something there.
Our big budget show, so I always keep these amazing notes by me. So I got your name. Look at you. I got San Jose, California. I got Paige Van Zandt and Beck with a big question mark. Would you want to do anything with them, with bare knuckle, anything with slap, or you said boxing right off the rip, and I think that would probably go more in true with your skills, but any kind of slap or bare knuckle of any sorts?
So they asked me to do slap against Paige. So I got offered slap against her as an opponent for her last one, right?
Wow.
The thing is that the money they offered me was fucking horrendous. And so I was like, and so when they wanted me to do it, I was in camp, because I was supposed to make my boxing debut on a Jake Paul card. And then the week after, he was originally supposed to fight Mike Tyson. So that was the plan. And then when his fight with Mike Tyson fell through back in July, that kind of pushed everything to the side, you know what I mean? But before that had happened, I was in camp getting ready for July 26th for MVP. And so when they came to me with the slap fighting offer, I was like, okay, thinking, this would be like, we have a lot of history, this would be cool. We're 2 like reasonably attractive women in slap fighting. Like, it'd be sick. Surely they're coming at me with some money. And I'd said like, hey, I can I'll try to get on a later card for boxing, you know, like this would be worth it. And then they offered me next to nothing. And I said, absolutely not. It's not happening.
That's so surprising to me.
Can I ask, can you throw out a ballpark number or no?
Pretty close to what I'm getting paid to fight Muay Thai right now.
Wild. So with that experience aside, before you knew that they were going to give you pennies, what are your thoughts on Power Slap?
You know, I actually just signed with First Round Management with Malky Kawa, and so I've been talking to Malky. We've been having a lot of conversations about like what I want to do with my career, and he brought up the slap fighting, and I was like, man, I don't know. And I told him that story. I was like, man, they offered me peanuts, you know. And before that, they'd offered me a decent paycheck against Francesca, which is the 155er, and I was like, I don't even walk around at 155. Like Francesca has come and trained at my gym with my coach. And I'm like, we may be the same height. We are not the same size. Like, I do not want to get. So I'll fight her 100%.
Right.
I'm not standing in front of her to let that bitch slap me. Absolutely not. So, but they offered me a decent purse for that. So then when they offered Paige, I was like, fuck yeah, they got to offer me the same that they offered me for Francesca. And nothing.
Right.
So I said that to Malky. I told him that story, and he's like, honestly, slap fighting would still be a good route. Because of the eyes on it. He's like, your visibility is increased significantly with the slap because there's a lot of people watching. And then once he said that, I was like, okay, I would consider that, you know, for that purpose. If it was for a specific reason, absolutely. But things like bare knuckle and that, you know, I've cornered at bare knuckle boxing in Kansas City recently, and they all hit me up asking me because they've been messaging me as well, saying like, we want you to fight for us. We want you to fight for us. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to be on TV. Like it needs to be money that I would be a fucking idiot to turn down for me to say yes, you know? And I've said that to him, and I said that to Malky as well. I was like, it's not 100% no. If they came at me with a tidy figure, absolutely I would do it, you know? But even cornering at that event, I'm like, man, like I can't do this for 10 grand. Like that's,
it's freaking
crazy.
Wild.
Yeah,
we gotta get you out to one of the game bread cards.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there in Biloxi. Yeah,
us too.
I'm gonna be there for that.
You'll have to come
I'm
find
so
Dave
nervous.
and I. Huh? You'll have to come find Dave and I. But why are you going out for a teammate or?
So I was coming out because I've been talking to Dean Toole about fighting boxing for them when they do another game bread card. So that, and I'm coming out to see. I'm gonna go watch Chase fight as well. So I'm coming out to watch Chase fight.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
that's great. Well, I can't wait to meet you there. That's gonna be fantastic.
Hell yeah!
It is quite a vibe. It is like
it's a scene.
I'm crazy, dude. I'm nervous. I struggled with bare knuckle boxing. I was like, you guys are fucking crazy.
Yeah,
bare knuckle
it's
MMA?
wild. It's wild.
Yeah,
the MMA though to me it's so much better because you can show your whole skills. You can show grapple and of course leg kicks and knees. So there's a lot more to it. It's a lot closer to whatever, right? The UFC than people think. It's I don't know. It is Maddie's 100% right. It is an absolute scene. Yeah. We're so lucky to work for Game Bread and do stuff. The pre-show, I do the press conference stuff. It's awesome. So pretty pumped.
If you guys need me for anything, I'll already be there. But I'm excited. Honey. I'm excited to be there. Yeah.
Yes, let's get it done. Sounds good.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Awesome. Boy, I think that's your part, Jess. We'll let you run. We appreciate you. Appreciate your time. I'll text you off air about this Game Bread stuff. We'll get something rolling. All right.
All right. Cool. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you so much.
Jess. Have a good day.
Bye.
Later.
See ya.
Jessy Jess, dude, she was awesome.
Awesome. That's so dope that she's gonna be at Game Bread. That's a perfect fit for her, honestly. I think that's a great fit.
For her, I think, Game Bread, bare knuckle MMA, right? Like competed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, but not only that, I think she would be great on camera for them, even as a commentator or something. Yeah. Something.
Maybe if Brendan Schaub's not going to do it, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But then again, we're available, so.
I was going to say, come on.
So I don't know. That role might be taken. I don't know.
Me, you, and Robin Black's got something going already. We got a good vibe already.
That would be a vibe. That would be such a vibe.
Dude, that would be a team right there.
I love that. I'm
FaceTiming Dean Toole right now.
You should.
It's funny when she mentioned boxing, I thought of already like Game Bread boxing and all that because like to me they're not MVP, but they're to me underneath in that range. Like they do they've had Showtime Pettis versus Roy Jones Jr. You know, they've had Jorge Masvidal and Diaz in part of that show. So yeah, I think that's a
I like that. I like that a lot.
Cool.
We have such a busy show today, and I'm so excited. Joe Giannetti joining in about 10 minutes.
Love it.
Bo Nickal, which is going to be a fun one. And then the stud Grant Dawson. I have so many questions for that man. Unreal.
So let's hit on that. Can we hit on that, please?
On Grant?
Yeah.
You want to do it before he gets here?
Well, yeah, just us and just talking about it a little bit for sure. So like,
do you think there was any piece, okay, before our friends get here?
Sure.
Do you think there was any piece of L being annoyed by that comment? Or just like, I can't believe he said that?
Maybe I can't believe he said it, but not annoyed at all. Like just being with Elle so much and doing a lot of traveling together this past summer. Like she is I hate that, like she'll understand. She's a boy girl. She's a Tom girl, right? Like she's tough. She's a Tom, someone gives her a comment like that, she can come right back. Dude, Matt, she's like you. You can hold your own. Like you guys can hold your own. There's a lot of girls that can't do that. They will fold or don't want that back. You know what I mean?
I think, and obviously Grant is such a good guy. And it's to me, outside looking in, I'm like, what a good marriage they have. Like how funny is, like, they have such a good marriage, like they clearly joke a lot together, and he has no filter. I mean, spend 5 minutes with him and you know that he has no filter. So it's awesome.
The thing I've been screaming to Grant Dawson about, and it happened so much for so many fighters. Think about Colby Covington, how many fights he's had in the UFC. They were going to cut that man, right? Jorge Gamebred Masvidal was kind of winning, and then all of a sudden something clicked. And not even saying we're going to have him on the show, and he does so much for Fight Bananas, of course, and Elle is such a major part of Fight Bananas. His personality has been like the most overlooked, underappreciated thing about Grant Dawson for this whole run. Like I don't think Grant has let Grant be Grant yet, or the UFC hasn't put enough light on Grant. I'm not even saying that. He's one of the funniest guys I know. He is freaking funny. So we did a card break a couple of days before he left for Vegas. And we talked about it mostly off air, but then a little bit on air about like, Grant, are you going to let it go? Like, are you going to kind of attack this, or what do you want to be? So like, I won't say a lot of the stuff that we said off air, but he did kind of say like, yeah, I might have something. Like I might kind of, after my win, I'm going to, do something. Of course, I didn't know it was going to be about Elle and her dump truck, but
no, that felt very spur of the moment. Like when he,
I'm going to ask him.
When he was talking about like, I was the first person to finish this guy. I was the first person to submit that guy. That felt rehearsed and like ready to go in his back pocket. But the Elle thing, it was almost like he was like, I love my wife so much. Oh my God, I'm picturing her ass. Oh my God, I should share that. Like, it's the best. It's the best.
So good.
This is a great comment. It really was one of the best post-fight interviews, like 5 spots behind Derek Lewis, and my balls is hot.
I drank 3 iced coffees. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I'm sorry.
You're fine. My name's Maddie, though. It's all good. Go to the bathroom. I will read through these comments. I love it. The Sunday morning brew going to be fun this weekend. Absolutely, Dawson. I was actually pretty bummed we didn't do it on this coming Sunday, but she's in Vegas. She needed that time. There's a pretty big time difference. So they needed to do their celebrating and just enjoy each other. But yes, the Sunday morning brew coming up on this Sunday is going to be electric. It's going to be great. Loved talking to Jessy Jess. She was great. Training at Killcliff this week, looks like. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be in Florida, and depending on where you are in Florida, but if you're going to Florida and you're a fighter, go to Killcliff. Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? But yeah, we have such a stacked card this afternoon, if you will, and I'm so excited about it. That was the fastest pee in the world. There is no way you washed your hands.
I don't touch anything. You just
okay. You just aim. You just aim.
I put my hands up like they're like a porn star, but
You're disgusting, David. You're disgusting. So many headlines to hit on too.
Dude.
I know we got like 5 minutes until Joe gets here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of which one I want to do because a lot of them are so good. But this one's a quickie. Cowboy Cerrone coming out of retirement potentially. Do we think it's true?
After you get on the sauce for a couple years, Maddie, you feel pretty damn good. So it's so funny. Even he said that he's like, I got to get off these steroids and piss clean for a couple months, and then I can come back. But
I like where his head's at, though. He says, I'm chasing greatness, 50 UFC fights. Yeah. Not only do I want a win, I want a finish, I want a bonus. So he's going for most wins in UFC history, most finishes, most bonuses, and most walks to the cage. That's pretty dope.
Crazy.
That's pretty dope.
And I know this might sound weird. Like, I think of Cowboy Cerrone when I think of those things. Like performance bonuses and wins and walk to the cage. Like he is that guy. He fights multiple times a year, taking short notice fights, always in a great fight. Yeah.
Dawson coming in hot. Cowboy versus Tony Ferguson. Ooh. And then hopefully this motherfucker will retire. God damn. Did you see Tony Ferguson? Did you see what this man said? He's never going to retire.
He's not.
Did you see what this man said? He's too old to retire. Oh, bro, I can't. This guy, I love him. I love his energy. Love what he does. Bro, you're done. You're done. You smoked. That would be crazy. Am I still the only person that wants to see Cowboy Cerrone versus Joe Lozon? Because that fight was supposed to happen so many times.
Yeah, 2-3 times.
So many times.
How about Grant Dawson versus Cowboy?
Yeah, wild. But no, Grant needs somebody in the top 10, top 15.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. If something happens with Moicano versus someone else, like if Moicano, something with Gaethje, Moicano with Fiziev, Benny DeRouche, something like that weird, and if Paddy Pimblett is open, come on. Grant Dawson and Paddy Pimblett. That's the fight.
Yeah, do they give him Paddy, though? I don't know. I don't know if they do.
When you say it like that, do you mean like they want to give him someone less?
I don't think they're going to give him a top 15 yet. I think they're going to give him one more, and then they're going to – because I think that the UFC is still very hell-bent that Paddy Pimblett could be like a next big thing type star, and they're really playing him safe. Like they're going to make sure that his fights make sense and all that stuff. Grant is a very dangerous fight for anybody. So it's like, I don't know if they give, it's too risky for Paddy.
So my point is, you're saying that they're shielding Paddy.
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
No, I agree. Totally agree with that.
Grant versus Cowboy would be a down payment on a nursery. 1,000%.
What a comment.
Oh my God. 1,000%. Andrew, you're not wrong. A lot of these fighters are making a comeback. Masvidal apparently coming back in March. We're definitely going to have to talk to Bo Nickal about that because Bo and Jorge having a little convo on their pod.
I heard a birdie. A birdie talked to me about something.
Shocker. A birdie talking to you, Dave.
All I'm going to say is that if George Masvidal comes back on April 12th to fight in Miami, Florida, that would be bananas. Just throwing it out there.
I thought he was saying March.
Maybe March, maybe the building's not available and they have to do it on April 12th in Miami, Florida.
Oh my God. All right. Well, there you go. Oh my God.
Chop that up, people. Chop it up.
This is a really good question. And this might be a good question for if we can ever get Jorge back on. But you think they need money or is it just the itch? I think it is just the itch. I do. Because I think fighters have, sure, money. Absolutely. Yeah. But you're telling me Jorge Masvidal doesn't have enough money? Come on. I think it's more about fighters just do not know when to quit. And when they do quit, the majority of fighters have such a gaping hole in their lives that they're like, I don't know how to be a normal human. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. So they're like, you know what? I could go back and do it. My husband is already talking about it. He just retired. and he's like, I
he
could go
retired great.
back. I'm like,
Your husband, that retirement was awesome, by the way. Real quick before we get Joe onto the show, which insane moment karate combat this past week in Salt Lake City. Real quick on the George thing. You said money. Dude, when you make that type of money, when you make Masvidal money at the end, like you start buying Masvidal things and start living that kind of lifestyle. And now he's only got 30 years moving forward. Like you have to, when you start living that lifestyle, I know it sounds crazy. Like I'm a nobody. And when I tell people my nugget of a month, I have 4 kids and the bills and the insurance and the cars and stuff. People are like, are you kidding me? Like you need to make that money to keep that lifestyle going. So I don't know. Throwing it out there. You want to have a real cool, great entrance for Joe? You want to off the rip?
Okay.
Go for it.
1 second. I'm setting up his fight. I'm going to play it. But this man has made a scene. We've seen him under the UFC roster. We've seen him just totally annihilate the New England scene. And now he is joining Karate Combat Universe. Joe Giannetti. What's up, my man? Welcome to the show.
What's up? Did I hear that Ross is coming back to Karate Combat? What was
Absolutely
that?
not. Absolutely not.
Let me get him on the same card. Come on.
Literally every time we watch fights, I have to hear him go, I could still do this.
Of course he could.
Of course he fucking could. Kid's a stud. Kid's a stud. But this is about you, Joe. Congratulations on an incredible performance.
Thank you, guys.
I have it all queued up here. We got to play this beautiful kick. Let's see. Hold on. Here we go. Boom, baby. Hold on. Look at this thing. Dang. I don't know what's better, the kick or the fact that that's what you called. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, no, 100%. I mean, it's something that I've called it a few times. So, I mean, I guess it's a little less impressive. But this one, I was like very, very confident it would be there. And so for it to end like that was insane. It was a movie.
Yeah. Well, so let's back it up a little bit. What made you want to call that specific kick?
I just felt like Jenkins' style. He's such a tough guy and he's not afraid to be hit. And, he dips his head off the center line a lot, almost a little too much. And I just knew that I could change the angle on him and catch him up top. And, we said it in the locker room, even right before we walked out, my coach, Justin, was like, you're going to frustrate him. And then once he starts dipping, just put that head kick out there. And that just happened to be the head kick that did it.
Yeah. Did you think it was going to happen so quickly?
No, not at all. I was ready to go for 3 rounds, maybe 4 if we needed the extra one. And then it was over. It was crazy.
And let me rewind it even more than that. When was it you that threw out, hey, Karate Combat, I like what they're doing? You put that out there, or did they come after you? How did you go into Karate Combat? How did that come to be?
So I've obviously watched Karate Combat plenty. I've seen Ross fight in there and stuff. And I've always said to my buddies, like, it'd be wicked cool to do Karate Combat. I just never knew if it would happen or if it would align with where I was in my career, And after losing my last MMA fight by that split decision, I was like, kind of in a point where why not? So I reached out to Joe Penafiel and I was like, you got any connects? I can hit somebody up and get on the card. Gave me their info. Sure enough, they put me right on the card. They were excited to have me.
That's so
the party. Sick. Look at that. The party with the hookup. I love it.
My man. I love the party.
This is not the first time I've heard the party hooking people up. Like he's all about just like getting his friends on cards.
He's about the fighters. He's about it.
He's so great. What was your overall experience like? Did you like it? Was there anything unexpected?
I mean, honestly, it was unexpected how close to the UFC as far as production and the way they take care of fighters. They had a driver waiting at the airport. And then just like all the group chats, just making sure everything's taken care of throughout the week. Let us know if you need anything. It was awesome. And then, fight night was like a video game. I felt like I got dropped into Mortal Kombat.
It's for real. Thoughts on the pit?
Sick. Like my favorite fighting, I guess, arena ever. I think the pit's the future for jiu-jitsu, karate combat, MMA. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't use it.
It's so wild. I remember the first time I saw it live, I was shocked at how big it is.
It's huge.
It doesn't look that big on the stream, but it's freaking huge.
Yeah, no, and they had a time scheduled for us to fill out the pit too. That was awesome too. I fought for promotions that like you kind of just show up on fight night and it's like, ooh, wish I got to step in the cage. But yeah, having like a slotted time for us to go out there and feel it out, it was awesome. And same thing, I jumped in and I was like, this is way bigger than it looks on the screen.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dave.
Just real quick, Maddie. Opponent. Jenkins, dude, we are huge, massive fans of Brandon Jenkins. He's been on the show multiple times. He's done a lot of stuff for Game Bread, Bare Knuckle MMA. We're huge fans of Jenkins. Like I said, when we saw you guys mashed up, we're like, holy crap, this is the people's main event of KC 50 in Salt Lake City. Then you get the win up on him. Like, how does that's got to elevate you in your spot? Because Jenkins has got a big spot in Game Bread, Bare Knuckle MMA, big spot in Karate Combat. You take all that now. How did you feel about getting matched up with the highlight Jenkins?
I was excited, man. You know, I said this to Boss Root in like the week of the fight. I have this weird thing where I watch certain guys fight, and there's like a voice in the back of my head that's like, you're probably going to fight him one day. And like, I got that, like that voice started going. I saw him at Karate Combat, and I was like, I don't know if I'll ever fight at Karate Combat, but I feel like I'm going to fight him one day. So I've kind of had my eyes on him. Crazy, exciting fighter, super tough. I mean, great guy, you know, before or after the fight. He was awesome. So yeah, you know, he's a super high level opponent, and I've been telling people those are the guys I want to fight. And I did, you know, I went out and took out number 7 off the rip. So I'm excited for what's next.
Yeah. So what is next? Like, because this was pretty last minute, right?
Yeah, it was just, I want to say it was just over 4 weeks. They hit me up, or I hit them up.
It was like a week or something. Okay.
No, we announced it kind of late because they had an event a couple weeks prior. So they were like full blown promoting that one.
So was this like a multi-fight deal? Do you want it to be?
So this was a 1-fight deal, but immediately after the fight, they were like, "We need you back. We want you back." And I was like, "I'm healthy, so when are we going to Miami? I want a Miami show." Utah was cool, but I want to go to Florida.
There you go. I mean, Dave can vouch for that. Miami's pretty sweet.
Miami was good. And they also have a crazy great show in Orlando, Florida. I've been to 2 of those for Karate Combat in Orlando. They do it big there. But real quick, I want to throw something in your ear. You just said that voice in your head about fighting someone. Jenkins has been on Game Bread, Bare Knuckle MMA. You got Joe Party Penafel as a Game Bread, Bare Knuckle star. You got all of a sudden this Northeast Slippery Pete is fighting on it. You got Costa fighting for the championship. Feel like you got a Northeast contingent going for Game Bread, Bare Knuckle. Joe, are you next? Are we doing this?
No, I would need way more money than I'm worth. I got glass hands. I break my hands so easy. I get cut up easy. So I would need a lot of money to do that.
I commend you for saying that, because so many people are like, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm like, y'all are crazy.
I would throw a number at them and they'd be like, you're not worth this. And I'd go, I know.
But imagine if they said yes.
Now, if they said yes, that'd be a different story.
Yeah, for real. That's so cool, man. What'd you think of the pants?
Awesome. I felt like I was in an anime.
Really?
That was like my favorite part.
Interesting. Because I feel like, I'm sure you've probably never fought in pants before.
No, I'm not in a sanctioned fight anyways.
That's hilarious.
I love it.
That's awesome, man.
I love it.
But yeah, no, it was cool. Everybody was asking me that, like, what did you think about the gi, the pants? You know, it was awesome. Like, it just felt like I was out of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, exactly. What was the response like for you after the fight?
Place went nuts. You know, obviously everybody wants to take pictures. Some people were like, hey, I'm a big Jenkins fan, but that was friggin' awesome. And then like his coaches were awesome too. One of his coaches DM'd me. We had bumped into each other a few times throughout the week. We're all like wicked cool, cracking jokes with each other. We're all just there to do business. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the overall experience was awesome. Everybody that was there, they were just like such big fans, you know. There was really never I didn't meet any at least jerks that were just like mouthing off to either of us. Yeah. So the crowd itself and, you know, who participates in Karate Combat was all awesome.
Good.
Love it. Following you for a long time, Joe. I love your socials, man. I love what you do. You're great on, for one, interviews. I see like you do some stuff your own. And then like I went through your page. I saw a Ted Lasso post. Anytime a man posted Ted Lasso up, I'm a big fan of that.
I love that show.
Dude, the best, right? Is like incredible. Like if
I've watched it like 4 times already. It's so good.
And it's a great at night show. Like me and my wife were like, we've been in the office for 10 years, but now like over the last 18 months, a year after the finale, like that, you put down that at night and you're just, you can laugh to it, go to sleep to it. But back to you on socials, my man, back to you. Do you know how important it is? It feels like you do of MMA and being a fighter to be prominent on socials, and not even that, to do it to me right. I think you handle your social media very well.
Thank you. I try. I tell people all the time, like, and nobody ever believes me. I'm socially awkward. I hate doing interviews. I hate social media. When I'm retired, you guys might see me like once a month online. But I do like interacting with fans. I do like using my platforms for, good things, fundraisers, and obviously as a business, I gotta promote sponsors. I have to let people know, like, I want to help local businesses just as much as I want them to help me. It's a good tool. It's a dangerous tool. I feel like some people get addicted to social media, but it's something that I need, and it's something very useful. Like I said, you can do a lot of good stuff with social media, so I kind of try to do that more so.
Yeah, it's so true. It's such a hate love relationship.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Before Fight Bananas, I didn't have social media. Didn't have it. Like, I was 33 years old, 34 years old, didn't have Facebook, didn't have Instagram. Just I lived life. No, and then like this happened. And they're like, hey, you got to promote your podcast. I'm like, okay, like how? Like I can't email it to friends or something. Or I can't handwrite a podcast. They're like, no, you have to get socials. And
I'm the same way. I had a Facebook. I forget when I made it. I made it forever ago, and I never used it. And then an old buddy of mine, when Instagram got big, he made me an Instagram, and I thought it was stupid. And I used to post pictures of like a pizza I'd order because I was like, that's all people post on Instagram.
Yep.
And then I started fighting, and people were like, well, you could promote your fight with this and like sell tickets. And I was like, I don't know how that makes any sense, but I just started using it.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations, my friend. A very awesome fight. And, a lot of eyeballs. So that's always good. And sounds like we're going to see you back in the pit one of these days.
Definitely. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Hopefully in Florida would be great. Orlando or Miami. I'm not too picky.
Last thing for you, Joe, at least for me, did you see Grant Dawson's win at the UFC and then his great post-fight speech about his wife, Hell? Did you see that?
I did see it. So I didn't catch the fight live. I watched the replay, but all my buddies sent me the post-fight speech. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was quite the speech for sure.
I know, the best. We're going to be talking to both of them. Elle's coming on the show in 10, 15 minutes. We have Grant on later. So pumped, man. So pumped for them. But Joe, man, huge fans of you. Have been for a while. I'm telling you that when I saw that fight post, I'm like, you versus Jenkins? Come on, Karate Combat. Why are you going to put two studs against each other? But it's what they do.
Yeah, it was awesome. The matchmaking was great. Not just my fight, the whole card, And I know like a bunch of people were like, damn, that's your debut. Like, that's not an easy debut.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I never thought I'd get the opportunity to fight for Karate Combat. So I got it. And I was like, I don't care who you put in front of me. Like, I'm going out there to win.
Love it, man.
Don't you got some T-shirts you want to sell real quick?
I do. Obviously I have the T-shirts from my last fight of Karate Combat, but more importantly, we have other shirts for Tap Cancer Out. I'll be competing next month, November 16th. 100% of the profits is going towards me and my teammates' Tap Cancer Out fundraising page, and then Tap Cancer Out will distribute it to all the organizations that help with cancer research. You can go to GiannettiMMA.com and grab them. Like I said, 100% of the profits. I'm not keeping any of the money, just paying to get the shirt made, and then profit gets sent over to the donation page. Everything helps, and if you can't afford a shirt, you can share the post or even just share the donation page. Anything helps.
So that was GiannettiMMA.com?
Correct.
Beautiful.
I love that. And when we get off air, Joe, if you can send me that link on my socials or Fight Banana socials, we'll get it out there as well. All right, my man?
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, Joe.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Karate Combat superstar Joe Giannetti. I like it.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Kid.
You've been
I've known him.
with him
I've known him for a few years now. When I first started my YouTube channel in 2020, I think. He was my very first interview.
There you go. What YouTube channel is that? Where can people find it?
Maddie Loves Fights, at Maddie Loves Fights, or just look up Maddie Levine, and I am gonna do something cool with my YouTube channel. I swear. But we're working on it. But yeah,
we're fans of you, man. We are.
Yeah, I've seen him fight. I've seen him fight several times. It's interesting. He never looks the same from one fight to the next.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean, like his fighting style?
I have seen him fight the most boring fights in the world, but because he was fighting smart, and I've seen him fight the most insane wars. So it's like I've seen him fight all over the spectrum, but it's because he does his homework, I think. And he brings to the table what he's supposed to with the opponent that he's fighting.
It's so funny you said that because people all the time, our next guest, Gillian the Savage Robertson, and then later on Grant Dawson, sometimes you hear that about them, right? Like I heard people were upset about Grant Dawson's fight with Joe Selecki last time, that he dominated him and was too wrestling-ish and never really got the kill, all that. And then I heard for this past Saturday, he was like literally the highlight of the show. The main event was awesome, by the way. Roy Val, shout out to Roy Val and Tiara. That fight was awesome. But like Grant was the highlight, not his, fighting style. I love that when he's ready to go. What's up, Chris? He wants to win. If it's a rear naked choke or the elbows, he's going to demolish his opponent. So
should he have gotten performance of the night or fight of the night?
Say that again.
Should Grant have gotten performance of the night, you think?
Yeah, I do think so. But you want me to throw?
He was the first person to knock out this guy.
You want me to say something? Like the UFC gave those bonuses to two guys that maybe don't make a lot of money and don't have a UFC bankroll yet. And I think, not saying too much, but I think Grant is very well taken care of. And with him and his win bonus, I thought, of course, he even said it afterwards. He would have loved the $50,000 bonus. We're not dumb here. We all would. But I think he's very well taken care of. So I think the UFC was trying to help out others, if that makes sense.
All right. Fine.
But I think he should have deserved it. He smashed him. Like, It was a one-way train.
Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, well. I think he should have gotten it.
Oh my goodness. All right. So dude, when are we when are we doing some Game Bread stuff? I want to do some like exclusive behind the scene Game Bread stuff.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I know. I'm talking with Charles Rosa tomorrow. I'm pretty pumped with that.
If Dean Toole would answer any of my text messages, that would be fantastic. And then I could get some things rolling because I actually have a lot of awesome ideas that I might just have to do myself, but I would really like to involve some sort of team. But there are so many Boston-based fighters on this card, and I'm so excited.
So many. Do we think Grant gets one more before the end of the year? No, absolutely not. L's fighting in December. Grant said it multiple times. He really wants to be there and support L. She deserves it. It's a big fight for her. It's her fight, first post-surgery. I really do. I think it's in the spring. I don't think he's in any rush. And also, I think it's kind of not, I don't want to say the right matchup. There's only a couple people that he should fight, I think. Like, there really is. Like, he should only fight a big name in front of him. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, no, I think he would say the same thing for sure.
Jalen Turner, Fiziev, Hooker.
Yeah,
Gimlet.
well, let's see here. One sec. I mean, he said he wanted Close. Drakkar Close, right?
Yeah, he threw that name out there, inserted Fight Finesse a little bit. Christian, I said this earlier in the show. Check out April 12th. Check out the weather in Miami, April 12th. I don't know. Just check it out. Think about it.
Dawson, great question. Dude. That's going to be a banger. Banger.
Dude, Brian Battle is such a stud, and I love seeing his progression into the sport. Talking about a stud, can we bring up the one and the only? Dude, I missed her. She wasn't on last week's show. Dude, the dump truck herself
is here.
Oh my God. I was gonna buy a little dump truck for my desk, but I didn't have time to do it yet. So that was gonna be when you pulled me up.
You want me to Amazon it too?
Yeah, Amazon me a little toy dump truck for the desk.
Dude, so good.
How the hell have you been, El?
How the hell have you been? And how are your DMs looking these days?
Oh man, the DMs are wild. Absolutely wild. I had to make a post today to address them. Yeah. So it's been interesting. It's been very interesting.
Can we post some DMs on Fight Finesse?
Can you share some of them? Like, what are they saying?
I mean, the same stuff. Like, I've got some quarters, or
Oh my god.
like why can't, mostly it's why can't we find your dump truck, because they don't post it. So
I did some creeping myself, not on you, on the posts, and I've seen your dump truck. It's fantastic, but I was going through these posts, and these creepazoids are just like, yeah, I've been digging through her photos, like not one dump truck found. I'm like, yo, y'all are fucking weird.
I had comments on like posts from like a year ago.
So weird.
Like it's been interesting.
Yeah,
we're going for it. We're just gonna take the momentum and run with it. I'm pretty sure I got more followers on Instagram than Grant did.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you should change your fight name.
That's what we were joking about.
Yeah.
Grant was like, you should be Dump Truck Dawson.
Oh my god! Or at least like I can see the fight T-shirt now. That's all. Like that's all I'm gonna say.
Thousand quarters to this day.
Oh my god! So fantastic.
I walked into physical therapy and I was like, nah, these people didn't see this. And then like one of the strength conditioning coaches comes, she's like, dump truck. I was like, okay, never mind.
Oh no!
I was wrong.
Oh my goodness. I don't want to say talking about a dump truck, but I don't know what other transition I could do in the industry. Like, what do we say now?
We don't call her a dump
trucks
truck.
all around.
Huh?
Dump trucks all around.
No, another man can't say that about another woman. I don't know. Just
how about we just call her by her name?
She's a stud. She's a savage. To me, she's the female version of Grant Dawson. Just smashing people, top 15, top 10, about to be world champions, whatever it is, just my two favorites. The Savage Robertson.
I'm so glad I came on while you guys were talking about that.
Yes.
You must have seen it, right?
I think the whole world saw it.
Yeah, for sure.
I was not ready at all for that.
An amazing fight for one, amazing post-fight interview, and then your reaction was just priceless.
It was so sweet.
Oh my gosh.
So we talked about it. Me and Maddie talked about it a little bit beforehand. And Elle, I did not want to talk to you off air about it. I wanted this to be so on air. 100%. You got to be truthful here in Fight Bananas land. Did you know that Grant was going to say that?
Oh, no way. Yeah. No way. That was a totally genuine reaction. And he was being so sweet too. So I was like, oh,
I know.
It's already awkward too. Like, cause the camera is on you the whole time.
Yeah.
Like if you're at the apex, like there aren't very many people for them to like scan for the crowd. So like the friends and family sections, like the camera's like in your face. So I'm always like, what do I do with my hands? How do I stand? Do I look okay? Does my face look weird? And then that line dropped. Yeah. The place was good. So loud. I've never heard the apex that loud.
Ever. It was fantastic.
They brought in that Vanderbilt baseball team. It was a brilliant idea.
Oh yeah. They were going nuts.
Yeah. So
good.
So crazy.
It was wild.
It was just priceless.
What a moment. Like, not even like, geez, 100% right. Like, I do this. I cover this for a living. So the main event was awesome. We'll get into that in a second. Royval and Tierra was an awesome fight. Love that fight. One of the best fights of the year. I love that fight. But then at least individually, Grant was the star of the show of the weekend. There wasn't anything else. There wasn't a PFL or about whatever. Talk about that maybe soon. I think there's a PFL this weekend. I'm not too sure. But then he mentions you, and it's not even like the best part, like not the best part, but like a funny part about it is on socials, we were getting tagged. Fight Bananas was getting tagged or tweeted.
That's what I hoped for.
It was crazy.
I hoped that this would bring Fight Bananas some more attention.
I love it. I mean, okay, just before we move on, I would like to share some of my favorite news headlines. Okay. This one's probably my favorite. Grant Dawson makes wife's badunky dunk his co-star. Grant Dawson cuts hilarious promo about wife's dump truck. UF star goes viral for making his wife blush showing off his dump truck. These are just fantastic. Like, this is the internet.
Is this TikTok? This has got to be TikTok.
No, these are Google articles, my friend.
No.
Google articles.
Written articles?
Honey, there's like 27,000. Somebody's saying you gained 700 followers. Dump truck wife gains extra 700 followers.
Guys, I had like I was stuck at like 7,100 Instagram followers for like a year. I'm like well over 9,000 now. It's been way more than 700.
Yep.
I had to
Grant to
address
make
the
fun of my
people
butt
today.
Dunkin'
I
Donuts.
was like, guys, nobody. I'm not gonna show you my dump truck. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I love it.
G, what do you think? I said it off kind of before you came on. I said it on. That was a Gillian Savage Robertson of the male side. Like the control, the domination. I think even you go for the rear naked choke first. And then if the guy doesn't give you that, it's like those short elbows come in. I've seen you do that multiple times. That was a Gillian Savage Robertson performance.
Oh yeah, it was 100% beautiful game plan, execution, everything. Like, can't say much of like everything about that fight. Like I said, with the post-fight speech, with the how the fight went, everything around it was really just made to be a viral moment. It was a beautiful fight, beautiful finish.
Gotcha. Amazing. Hit on that main event. We haven't really talked about it in a while. We were waiting for Elle to get on. G, we were waiting for you to get on. The main event was awesome. UFC, flyweights. Look, to me, the winner is going to fight the winner of Pantoja, and we have a new challenger. Elle, can you say his name correctly for me?
Tatsuro Taira? Are you
No,
talking
not
about
Taira.
you're talking about Kai? Oh, sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I was reading the comment section. Kai Asakura.
Kai Asakura?
Asakura.
Dude, that fight is so good, by the way.
But those are the letters in that order.
Okay.
It's either Asakura or Asakura. I don't know.
So to me, Royval fights the winner of that fight. Like he was already the
yeah.
number one contender, then just had the best performance of a flyweight, maybe all year, wins this one. Like, are you guys on the same page that Royval has to fight for the championship next?
Oh yeah, 100%. Dean even Dean made the comment about that fight. He's like, this is what happens when two good fighters fight. It was just amazing to watch. Just like one guy had their moment, the other guy had their moment. At the end of like almost every round, I look at my boyfriend, I'm like, how would you score that?
Yeah.
It was close. I did think Royval won the fight, but it was crazy close.
I agree, but like I'm kind of I'm with you. I think he won 3-2. Like I definitely give Tatsuchi 2 rounds. Like and what you
it was really impressive to see from both sides. Like I said, there's constantly looking for the finish and just the finishing aspect. Like Royval, I feel like had it more on the feet. I can't say the name correctly.
Taira.
Was dominating on the ground, looking beautiful, and it was just it was really, I feel like, a competition of like stand up and striking, but they were both just so game and so down to look for the finish, down to like keep fighting. Neither one of them were trying to just hold.
Also, to me, so those are two great flyweights. We have a new flyweight influx with the championship with Asakura. And then did you guys see earlier in the card was that flyweight debut guy who fought in the Contender Series who just like was phenomenal. He got the performance bonus that I thought Grant was going to get. I think he got like a second round TKO. He just looked like he looked like Sean Shirk. If you guys remember Sean Shirk from like 10 years ago, he was just
Cody
I've never seen a flyweight look like that.
Yeah,
it's massive.
Yeah, I was actually gonna bring him up. I'm like, he was probably the only other person on the card who really impressed me. It was his name's Cody Haddon. He fought on the Contender, I believe it was in August, and then now making his UFC debut against someone who is probably stylistically a terrible matchup for him. Someone who is constantly just shooting, and the way he handled it was amazing to watch. I feel like that kid you're gonna see big things from.
Talking about the Contender, did you guys see past Tuesday, a week from last night? It was like an amazing show. Cody Steele was on it. Even to me, they're calling him like the good-looking Hazmat Chimaev. I don't know if you guys heard that one yet. That's out there. It's like that guy's got a crazy name, but he was literally a model. He was a male model. Now he's an MMA fighter.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's actually, I saw pictures on Instagram. He's a Versace model in real life.
Yeah.
Now UFC fighter. I'm like, that's crazy.
Dude,
I mean,
I can't even model an island
incredible.
fight shirt good enough.
What's that, Dave?
I can't model an island fight shirt. I can't pull it off.
Dave, we forgot about Amir Albazi. Christian brought. I kind of forgot that fight was happening because he has been AWOL. But
I feel like it's the best the UFC flyweight division's been in years.
We actually have multiple contenders.
Yeah. Damn. Good point, Christian.
Forgot about
what were you going to say, Maddie?
Good catch, Christian.
No, nothing.
Oh. Yeah. My modeling days are over. My modeling days are over. But that guy, he looked good. Like the contender, this is the last week. Tonight's the last one. Sad.
Oh,
No,
that
I
is
hate
sad.
that. I'm like, I look forward to every Tuesday. Well,
Yeah,
really,
this was
honestly,
such a good season.
I was gonna say
best.
for me, I'm like, it's Tuesday nights and then Wednesday mornings.
Oh,
We never do it all Tuesday night.
No, just fall asleep, finish it tomorrow for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and
No,
I
it's
wish
so
they would
true,
make
though.
it just a year-round show, and they don't have to sign people as often. Like, pay them what you're paying them. You can afford to. You'd have a well of prospects to pull from every time you need a short notice replacement. Just have a year-round show.
It'd almost be like, oh, go ahead, Maddie.
No, go ahead, G.
I was gonna say, so it would almost be like a regional UFC.
Exactly.
Yes.
It'd be awesome.
Like the minor leagues or something.
Yeah. I love that. And G is 100% right. Maybe Fight Bananas Instagram made a story with her at like 9:35 or like 10:02. I was like, God dang it, she's not going to see this. All of a sudden, 6:30 a.m. on the dot, my phone. Oh, Savage_UFC reshares. I'm like, oh, G's up. He's up.
There it is.
So funny, dude.
Gee, I am right there with you. There is no need to be staying up till 10.
I think last night I went to bed at 7 p.m. and I woke up at 5:30 this morning. So
okay, that's wild. That is the sun still up when you go to bed?
That's grandma mode right there. I respect it.
Is the
I
sun
feel
still up
attacked right now.
I want to know if the sun is still up. Is it still up when you go to bed?
Yeah, it was. It was
wild. You got to switch out the indica for some sativa, my friend.
I'm just training a lot. I feel like
I get that.
I feel that.
The second I get home, I am out.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Dude, Gillian would be very proud of this, I think. So we for the storm, the family went to Charleston, South Carolina for the storm, and we got away, and it was actually my wife and I's anniversary. So we were with the grandparents, and they're like, hey, go out on a date. We're going to watch all 18 of your kids. Don't worry, it'll be fine. So we go out on a nice, beautiful day, had a great dinner, but then we went into a shop in downtown Charleston, South Carolina, where stuff is legal. God, good God. And so I get this little chocolate, like this, something to eat that might, relax you. So I'm like, okay, cool. This is awesome. What a date. This is awesome. So I have this. We go out to another place, get a couple of drinks. And I look at my wife, I'm like, you have to drive home. Like, this is not happening right now. I guess Charleston, South Carolina is a little bit stronger than this Florida stuff down here. I don't know.
Hilarious.
Yeah. It was wild.
That is so funny.
I could not drive.
I don't know if she'll want me to tell this story, but my last funny edible story came after my last fight. I came back to my hotel room and Hannah Goldie was there with all my friends, and I happened to have a brownie on my side table, and she goes and takes a huge piece of it.
Oh geez.
I'm like, how do you not know me, knowing that I would just buy the most extreme one?
Right.
So I had a 1,000 milligram brownie on my side table.
Oh Jesus.
And Hannah was out.
Yeah.
It took about half an hour and she was gone.
Did she realize it was an edible, or was she like, oh, a brownie?
No, she knew it was an edible, but she just didn't realize
Oh,
how
just
strong it was. She just took a huge piece and then was
What do you got? 1,000 milligram?
That's
It's
how do you
Vegas.
fit that in one brownie? How big was this brownie? Is it like a cake?
It was like regular size, like not huge, but it was a big brownie.
What are you doing, girl?
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. She wanted to go to space.
She was like, I didn't realize what was on your bedside table would kill me.
Oh my gosh.
Don't you know me?
That's
Hey,
what
this is why you don't eat anything that's not yours. That is the rule. You never know.
Drink.
Exactly.
Or drink. I'm a big, if this is my drink, this is my drink. I do not share drinks. I'm a big not share drinks. Food, I'll share with anyone. Drink, do not drink my drink. Don't do it.
No touchy.
Yeah, no touching my drink. Man, gee, anything else? We got Bo Nickal coming on. We got Grant Dawson coming on. Okay, real quick. I'm being funny about it, but I'm going to be kind of serious. Do you guys know there's a big PFL card, a pay-per-view this weekend that people need to buy on ESPN Plus for it?
It's kind of crazy how it is a Francis Ngannou fight week and nobody's talking about it.
I know.
Nobody.
It's wild.
Before we kind of get into that card, and gee, we talked about it for years and on end. this is why if you're a professional fighter, I'm sorry, I'm going to go here. Like, you got to fight, or you should have aspirations to fight for the UFC. Like, to fight, like Johnny Eblen is on this card. You and I are the only people that know that. Like, we even promoted Johnny Eblen on the card, and literally comments like, he's fighting this weekend. They are so bad at promoting their brand, and this is such a big card. I'm telling you, when I'm saying this, they have a lot riding on this weekend. If this bombs,
it's ironic. Their Instagram was busier the week Kayla Harrison was fighting in the UFC than it was to promote this card this week.
I know.
They're
it so is petty.
I'm like, it's such a huge card, and I've really hardly heard anything about it, honestly. Like, even just like through like general social media, it feels like people just aren't talking about it.
Like MMA outlets, like just people that work for that, like nobody just promotes it. It's very weird.
No, it's
very
weird.
Larissa Pacheco and Cyborg, like that is a mega fight in the female division, like that historic female. Guys, I'm telling you, and maybe I'm too pro or biased towards Larissa. She's always been super nice to me and us at Fight Bananas. If she wins this fight, like she's got wins over Kayla Harrison and Cyborg over the last year. Like, that's some respect on her name.
So this comment is so funny because I thought the same thing the last time I watched them. They do this thing where between fights, they'll just like throw it to a random camera and it just sits there for like minutes. And it's the strangest thing. It's like,
how do you not have content to put?
You don't have any fight kits to like put there, or like you had the lovely Carissa Maxwell. You don't have a fun little promo to throw in there. Like, what are you doing?
And that also,
it's bizarre.
That's exactly what I thought last time watching it. I was like, why? It feels like B-League, you know? It's just like, why are we just cutting to literally radio silence for a good 5 minutes? I was like, what is going on here? It just doesn't, I don't know. You would never see something like
$20 like regional pay-per-views do.
Yep. Yeah.
It's the same.
And my last comment on it is, and I've joked about it, like we don't know where or when Dakota Ditcheva's fighting next. They spend the whole year of a season fighting in these playoffs and these games and rankings, and then there's a championship series. Where's that fight? When's the date? Like, when is it? To me, smaller operations can promote one show at a time. And one thing that the UFC does amazing, the UFC was promoting UFC Paris. Then I knew about UFC Vegas 98. Also, we know the pay-per-view with Poitiers coming up. They have already been promoting Max and Ilya. We all know UFC 309's got John Jones and Stipe and Bo Nickal on the card. Like, they can kind of like a little this. So when it's fight week and it's Max and Ilya, it's like we've had 4 weeks of like a little inklet of each time. And Chimaev is back. It's like,
Dave, we're in October and they just released almost the entire card for UFC 310 in December.
Yeah, it's over.
We already know the lineup.
The card's stacked.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We have to talk about that in a second.
Yeah, it's good.
You did call the main event. I would like to commend you for that. You did call it.
I love it. I mean, you do have to admit that the UFC has crazy money, which means they have a crazy team behind them of, promoters and this and that. And it's just like, they are just leaps and bounds ahead of everyone when it comes to that. And it's just, but you would think that somebody like the PFL, who was just trying to rebrand, would put the money into that. It's like they're not even putting the money into it.
Well, and I think something that the UFC does so well is like nobody has 2 jobs. It seems like everybody has one job, and that's why everything gets done so smoothly.
Yes,
because that's why they have a bajillion staff. Like Gillian sees more behind the scenes than I do. Like, and there's so many people there, and each one does one individual thing, and it's like the most well-oiled machine ever.
1,000%.
Something that I also think is amazing about the UFC staff, and like obviously I can't talk about PFL staff. I've never been backstage there or anything like that. But the UFC staff absolutely love their jobs. You can tell they're just so happy to be there, and they just love working with the fighters and love doing what they're doing. And I feel like that makes such a huge difference in that it makes them do an amazing job at it.
And I will go to bat for the PFL staff. We've been at a lot of PFL shows to
The
do media,
best.
and they are amazing.
The
Like
best.
the people who run the production are some of the best people ever. I think these poor decisions are coming from way, way above them. You know, I think they
trickle down
do
effect.
the job very well.
All right. So here's my big question. And I guess if we want to talk about the card, I think Bo's coming on in 5 minutes. So I don't want to overlap a ton. But my main question to all three of you, let's start Maddie, L, then to G. Are you guys spending the $50 on this PFL pay-per-view on ESPN Plus? Maddie.
No.
L.
If Johnny wasn't on the card, I wouldn't. But Johnny and Hennen are both on the card, so I will be buying it. Yeah.
Okay. Gillian?
I probably would, just because I don't know, I have nothing better to do with my free time than watch fights.
Otherwise, she'll be in bed by 7, guys.
But yeah, but that's I don't know. I'm just interested in watching fights. I'm interested in seeing the production, especially with such big names on this card. But it's also I don't think somebody who isn't as big of a fight fan as me is going to spend that $50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think somebody said this. Francis Ngannou is not a draw on his own. And they did not do a good enough job promoting Hennen, who should have been promoted as a superstar. And then they could have built him as their superstar and then brought Francis in and then marketed them against each other. But Francis on his own is not the draw they think he is. Like Conor McGregor can sell a whole card by himself.
Yeah.
Francis
Such a
can't.
good point. Such a good point. And then if they did that, L, which is a great point, it's a win-win situation, because if Francis, their bought superstar, if you want to say, wins, he beats a humongous name and Francis keeps on going like that. God forbid if Hennen knocks out Francis, who hasn't fought in MMA in over 3 years, you've been building your own PFL star. And if he beats Francis, put the rocket launcher on him. He's next.
100%. Like they haven't put enough behind him, in my opinion. Like I think they've done a killer job with Dakota. I think they should have been doing the same thing with Hennen and Johnny. Like they don't promote Johnny at all, which
I will never understand why they don't promote Johnny.
Johnny might be the best middleweight in the world. Like Johnny might be a guy who could come in outside, like come into the UFC and beat every guy in that division. Like, and they don't talk about him ever.
All I know is that he used to date like TMZ porn stars. That's all I know about the guy.
Oh my God.
He's been on the show before. We love Johnny Evelyn here in Fight Bananas. That's all I know about Johnny from the PFL.
We'll have to have him on after so you can learn a few more things.
No, I know John. He's awesome. He's always been great to us. And I know him and Dean are cool. Him and George are really good. So like we're big Johnny people. We've been promoting them. We're just the only ones. We're the only ones. Crazy.
I met him. I actually interviewed him at Mohegan Sun a couple years ago. And I just remember thinking like, he reminds me of Grant, like just like very dry humor.
Yeah.
Like
they get along well.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, he's like a really like well-spoken. He's funny. Like, why are you not promoting this guy? I don't get it.
Crazy.
Well, that's something, once again, like we're just sucking off UFC today, but like that's something they do so incredibly well is they build their own stars in-house.
Yeah. I mean, where's the lie, you know?
Dude, maybe Mrs. Dump Truck shouldn't be saying suck it off on a live show, okay? Jesus.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
All right.
Maybe do.
Put that into a reel.
Or maybe do. Let's get the views up.
I know. Let's get the views up. As
Make
Dump
sure
Truck's talking about
that's the like preview.
Yeah.
That's the cover
Dump
photo of
Truck Dawson.
G, last thing for you is, who do you have? Do you have Cyborg, kind of, one of the most legendary names in all of female MMA, or you have Larissa Pacheco, kind of in her prime, the newer female who would be a big, big win for her?
I definitely think it's a toss-up because I feel like you don't know where Cyborg is really at in her career. Like, I feel like she might be on the she's getting a little bit older, you know?
Yeah.
But I still think I'm siding with her. I still think she's gonna have the overhand. I'm still gonna side with Cyborg on this one.
I love it. There we go. We got Gillian the Savage Robertson with Cyborg. We gotta make that into a post, guys. Gillian Savage Robertson. We are officially 6 weeks or 5.5 weeks away.
No, we are like 3.5 weeks away.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, a lot closer than that.
I go on one hurricane trip, and this is what happens. Holy crap. That's wild.
Nuts.
That's wild.
Yeah, November 9th. It's coming up quick.
There we go.
love it.
Well, get your post-fight speech ready. Make fun of your significant other's dump truck, and you'll become a global viral
Remind us
superstar as
of
well.
Instagram-less boyfriend's name again.
Sean.
Sean. Okay, because I forget, and then I can't go and creep through your Instagram to find out. So, Sean. Talk about Sean's dump truck. Somebody else. We need to take the attention off of mine for.
There we go. All right, G. We'll see you next Tuesday, and have a good week.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Bye, G.
Later. Gillian the Savage Robertson.
She's the best.
What a time. What a time.
This is a fun show today. I enjoy this.
The first hour flew by. Maddie, it flew
really
by,
did.
right?
It really did.
Did you guys talk
Jessy
about Cowboy yet?
We did.
little.
We did. Somebody,
missed
my
it.
friend Julian actually mentioned that, was asking if we talked about it yet. We mentioned it a little bit, just like the fact, like, do we think it's going to be real or not?
I think this is what happens a lot to these like older guys is they get out of the UFC, and he was open to it. So I don't feel bad like saying this publicly, but like I feel like these guys get out of the UFC because they know they're a little bit older and they feel like crap because a lot of them probably need to be on TRT.
Yeah.
So they go to a doctor, they get the TRT that they need, and then they
Feel
start
amazing.
feeling actually good again. And they're like, I think I could do one more. But then they come off of it, and then they probably still feel good for a little bit. But I bet eventually, like, you start feeling like crap again. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if he can get off the juice.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I think
I
he
would
can
love
do
to
it.
see him come back. Like to see Cowboy do 50 fights in the UFC would be insane.
Woo!
Would be insane. Talking about feeling good, this man always feels good. National championship. How about undefeated contender series, undefeated in the UFC? He's got a big fight, guys. UFC 310 November 16th, I believe, or UFC 309 November 16th. Talked to him before. Great guy. That's the one and only Bo Nickal to the show.
What's up, everybody? Appreciate
up, man?
that intro. How you guys doing?
Course, brother. How are you, Bo?
Oh, wow.
Doing well. Just, like you mentioned, got big fight coming up. So been training hard, getting after it. And I'm excited to go out there and perform. Awesome opportunity for me being one of the biggest cards of the year. And looking to go out there and do my thing and keep getting better.
I got to
We all
ask.
probably have a ton of stuff for you. The first thing I want to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
But when is it time? Is it a certain time or is it a certainly planned thing that you coming down to Coconut Creek? It's like, okay, I got to be here for this, or is it mainly just a fight camp? Or do you know, because you looks like it's like 2 fights a year. It's kind of been a thing for the last 2 years for you. Is it a certain time or is it mainly for a fight camp?
It's kind of adjusted and I'm still figuring it out. So nothing's really like set in stone as far as how I systemize my training. For this fight in particular, I'm spending quite a bit more time down here. I think that, I love my training scenario up in Pennsylvania, and I've got a lot of good coaches and partners and people I can work with. But the reality is I'm the most experienced guy up there, and I'm not that experienced. I only have 6 pro fights. So, being down here in Coconut Creek at American Top Team, what I believe is the best gym in the world. I have the best training partners and best coaches, and I get to, roll and work out with so many guys that have just tons of experience. And I think that's really what I need right now in my career. But, it's always adjusting. I'm always trying to figure out what works and what makes sense. And so, for this one, I'm doing a little bit more time down here, and we'll kind of see how that goes and, adjust accordingly. If it works out well, I could see myself spending more time down here, but we'll see.
Speaking of adjustments, you guys might obviously wouldn't know this, but Mike Brown has been, he's been gone, I think all but one day the whole last month, because he's cornering guys all over the world. What has it been like making that adjustment to not having him there with you during this camp?
Yeah, of course. I think one of the best things about American Top Team is being able to work with Mike Brown and, love working with him, love learning from him. The only unfortunate part is a lot of other people do too. And he's cornering guys, he's cornering Grant, cornering Johnny, and he's cornering Kayla. So there's a lot of high level fighters that want to work with him. But I just try to make the most of my time, be as efficient as possible. We got a couple workouts in together in person, and then we're also communicating a bunch just through text or WhatsApp or whatever. And that's something that is big for me as far as like development outside of just training, doing film study and kind of getting reps over and over in my mind. I try to make up for lost time that way. I think a lot of people have 10, 12 years in this sport. I only have really just over 2 years as a professional. And so, I have to put extra time in doing little things like studying film and spending more time. So, yeah.
Just for you two, just like a little peek into Mike Brown's mind. So while we're in the hot tub cutting weight for Grant, Mike Brown is literally going through all of Bo's sparring footage and like cutting clips and making notes, like spends hours and hours doing this, like the biggest nerd in the game by far.
I was gonna say, a look inside that dude's brain would probably be wild.
Like, you know how you have pictures of like your dogs and your husband, your phone, like Mike Brown's just like fights. The whole moment.
Pictures of Bo Nickal.
He's like, where's the scale? Where's Bo's scale? I want to know his weight.
Bo, I love how you are just a man with a plan, right? Like you seem to be very into manifesting and just kind of mapping out your future. And it sounds like 3-fight plan before we're going to fight a ranked opponent. You don't really hear this from a lot of fighters. A lot of fighters are like, get me to the top, get me that belt, baby. Can you talk to us a little bit about that mindset and why it's so important for you to do it in this way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that coming into MMA, it's just so interesting because I spent over 20 years in wrestling. And, when you start out in a sport as a young kid, you just learn the basics, you learn fundamentals, you learn like how to get in a stance, how to do a penetration step, just very, very basic rudiments. And coming into MMA, I think that maybe being a high level in another martial art, some people lose that mindset, that beginner's mindset of, hey, I want to learn the fundamentals and I want to continue to grow and improve as a fighter. And they maybe, I've seen a lot of wrestlers like, get a couple knockouts and feel like they got things figured out, or, take guys down, submit them, feel like they know everything. But for me, really the development and the fun part of the sport for me is the improvement, getting better. And I don't feel like I need to rush to the top. I know where I'm headed, and, I've been a world champion in wrestling, and I've been, the best in the world at a sport before. And so I know basically what I need to do to get to the top again. And so I'm not rushing. I'm not skipping steps. I'm making sure I'm focused on development. And really more than anything, my mindset shifted. My goals in wrestling were to be a 4-time undefeated national champion, to be an Olympic gold medalist. I didn't achieve those things, but I achieved a lot of cool things. And now my mindset has shifted in fighting from being so goal-oriented, where the goal is this ultimate kind of pinnacle, to just more of a growth mindset of, hey, I just want to get better. I just want to improve and every day take my game to new levels. And so with that, then I think just the mindset's like, I'm not in a rush. I'm just focused mainly on development. Of course, I still have goals. I still have things I want to accomplish, and I still have a plan, but the main priority is developing and improving every day.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I love that. Bo. That's so well said. Like, how many UFC middleweight champions have there been? Right. And there's still been a ton of successful people. And if you don't win the championship, and I know that's what you want, and that is a goal, right? Grant Dawson says that all the time. Like, I want to be world champion. I'm in here, be world champion. But you can still do so many great things, not even in life, but of course in the sport of mixed martial arts, if you don't become just the UFC middleweight championship. So I love that you said that. One thing I love that you also do as well is like the whole podcasting side and this side of it. I was lucky enough, Island Fights, to literally call your first fight as a pro and all that stuff. To see you do everything on this side of it is awesome, because this is what I do on this side of it. How fun did you, at the beginning, you're like, oh, let me try it, or I think this one might be cool. Has it, exceeded your expectations of what you were going to do on this side of it, being with better and everything of that nature?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that it didn't really start out like with a crazy plan or any type of thing like, hey, I want to do this or that. It was really just, I want to have conversations with people that I enjoy. And mainly, my co-hosts, Anthony and Ronan, who I'm best friends with. And so it just started off that way. Like, let's just have some conversations and talk about things that we want to talk about. And it's evolved into having guests on and different people coming from different backgrounds, different experiences and perspectives. And for me, I think that as much of an effort as I put into developing my skills in fighting and in other areas, I enjoy developing myself mentally and just hearing new perspectives, hearing things that have helped different people become successful and their stories. And really the idea for me now with the podcast is just to kind of hopefully share some insight into people's lives and what's helped them, what's hurt them, what's made them successful, what's, maybe caused them to fail at certain things, and give that and package that and give that to an audience. So for me, I think it starts with just like things I want to learn about. And then from there, hopefully that resonates with all the listeners. But yeah, mainly I just want to keep it fun, keep it, entertaining and really positive. So that's like my main kind of focus with the podcasting and stuff.
It's awesome. What was your main takeaway from your chat with Jorge Masvidal?
Yeah,
did you learn anything about him?
Masvidal is interesting because he's actually a guy that the first person I was really introduced to in MMA was Jorge, because I came in while I was still wrestling and I helped him a little bit with some of his training camps when he was getting ready for Kamaru Usman. So, I've known him for a while, probably like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years at least at this point. And so, it was cool just to, I guess, take a deeper dive into, what's got him where he's at and just kind of seeing his mindset. Of course, on the daily, I've been able to see him and see how he trains and, the way he kind of thinks about fighting and stuff. But I think that it was cool to just have a little bit of a deeper conversation with him. And the coolest part is just knowing that he wants to get back in there, and he still has that fire and that drive, and he's motivated to fight again. And to be honest, the training sessions that I think this last couple years of time off have been really good for him, because he's had a lot of energy and he's been training hard, and it feels like he feels really fresh when I've been able to go with him. So I'm excited to see him get back in there and hopefully get a couple more wins under his belt.
What's a matchup you think that would get him excited to come back to the UFC?
It was funny. I asked him, I was like, yo, like, who are you thinking about fighting? And he was like, honestly, man, I don't really have a plan right now. He wants to train for a little longer time and get a fight early next year. And I was like, bro, you need to get Nick Diaz, man. That would be a sick fight. Of course, he's fought his brother a couple times. And so, there probably aren't too many people that have fought both of them. And he would have a chance to have wins over both of them, which would be huge. And I think that would just be a massive fight. So I know Nick is fighting Vicente Luque. Yeah. So we'll see how that fight goes. But I think to have Jorge fight Diaz, the both brothers, would be insane.
I love that. I
love
that.
Be a great matchup.
One thing that we've talked about, especially Elle and myself, for years on this show of Fight Ben Has Bo, and it's going to go directly into you. I'm a huge fan of specialists, right? I know everyone wants to be, A+ or A- at so many different things, but we just saw Grant last weekend. If you can't stop that takedown, and he is so dominant when he's on top of you, I hear middleweights, light heavyweights say, when Grant gets on you, it's over. That's it. The round is over. I'm a huge fan of, if it's a submission specialist, you see Poatan is a kickboxing specialist. Like, whatever you do it at A+ level and do the best of it. No one can stop you. Kayla Harrison's another example, and I hope this doesn't, I don't want to mean this in the wrong way. I see you as a top tier specialist. What you do in the world, Bo, no one in this planet can stop you. Like, you're just the best at what you do in that. Are you the same way as me? Do you love that specialist aspect? Or do you think you do need to be in 2025 a well-rounded mixed martial artist?
I think that what a lot of people do, that I think that MMA is always changing and evolving. Obviously initially when MMA first started as a sport, it was literally the jiu-jitsu guy versus the boxer, the wrestler versus the karate guy. So that's the way it started. I think then we saw, how effective jiu-jitsu was. And then, the sport started evolving into its own thing. And so you saw guys that were kind of more well-rounded start to do better. And now I think you do see a trend of the elite specialists having the most success in the sports. You know, you have guys like Khabib, you have guys like Poatan, you have guys like Adesanya, you know, these guys that are extremely good in one area that can kind of just like control the fight and make people fight their style, that are having a ton of success. And so for me, when I look at my style and what I want to do, it's don't forget your wrestling, right? Like that's something that I did for 20 plus years. And I, you know, don't really feel like there's another competitor out there that can match me in that. And so, of course, I'm developing striking, I'm developing jiu-jitsu, but, you know, I want to continue to really emphasize my wrestling. And that's another reason that I enjoy training in State College. It's, you know, I'm training wrestling with Penn State 3-4 days a week. And so I'm able to wrestle the best guys in the world and keep that sharp. And I feel like that's a mistake that I see a lot of wrestlers make, is they forget about their wrestling. They lose it. They become a striker, or they, you know, lose that focus. And so for me, it's continue to emphasize what I'm good at while simultaneously developing those other skills. And, you know, I think I'm right now, obviously I have world-class wrestling. I think my jiu-jitsu's getting very good very quickly. I think I'll have world-class jiu-jitsu very shortly. And the striking, you know, maybe will take a little bit more time, but the goal for me is to eventually, you know, be world-class at everything I do. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to, you know, forget about those 20 plus years and all the competition experience that I had in wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're fighting another specialist in Paul Craig, but a name that's come up quite a few times for you has been Rodolfo Vieira as well, which is a fight I would love to see. Another incredible specialist, amazing grappler. Is that a name that's still kind of on your list at this point?
Yeah, you know, that was a fight I was looking forward to prior to this matchup, and it was talked about some, and it's a fight I would love to have. I think that right now I'm 100% focused on Paul Craig. I think that Rodolfo they have obviously similar styles with jiu-jitsu background and stuff. So, you know, it's definitely a potential fight in the future. But right now I'm, you know, 100% focused on the task at hand. But there's a lot of names that interest me. I think, you know, the main thing is just continue to get better, improve, develop, and whoever the UFC matches me up with, I'm good to go. I'll be able to take care of business.
You weren't over the moon, obviously, about the Cody Brundage performance. We've heard you speak on that already. How important is it for you to finish Paul Craig, in your opinion?
You know, I think that to say it's not important wouldn't be true, because, you know, I'm 6-0 with 6 finishes. I only had one guy get past the first round on me, and so there's an expectation. You know, I'm probably going to be a massive favorite going into this fight, which is crazy considering, you know, Paul Craig's resume, and I'll be, you know, minus 2,000 or something like that. But of course, everybody's going to expect me to get the finish, and if I don't, they'll probably say I suck or something like that. But which is, you know, which I don't think is true. But for me,
we
again,
I don't.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But for me, you know, the main priority is development. The main priority is improvement. I don't mean to sound like I'm beating a dead horse or sound boring, but it's just getting better at fighting. That's all I care about. And so if I go out there and I submit him or knock him out in the first round, great. If I go out there and get 15 minutes and I can dominate the position, dominate every second of the fight for 15 minutes, then, you know, I'll be happy with that, because I think there's different developments from each of those different possible wins. Of course, you know, for personally, I'm a competitor and I want to go out there and put a show on. So, you know, I'm always looking for the finish, but I think that at the same time, you know, it's not a bad thing for me to get more time in the cage. I think I had probably 8 or 9 minutes in my last fight, and that probably tripled my fight time in total. So, you know,
it's wild. That's wild.
For me, like, getting more time in the cage is definitely not a bad thing. And hopefully I can just use that to help kind of propel me in my career and just get more experience.
Well, with your rise in popularity, it also attracts haters. Have you seen the latest comments from Darren Till? I'm curious.
I haven't seen him. That's okay. Funny what he said.
He decided to go off on Twitter for whatever reason. the Ginger Ninja. Now, please do not shoot the messenger. I do not agree with anything he's about to say, okay? The Ginger Ninja doesn't even fight. He talks more than me, and I talk a lot. His wrestling is good, but his striking is appalling. And then he also made fun of your cooking videos. So I would like to give you a chance.
Cooking videos are terrific.
Those are my favorite. It's just Bo holding a giant steak.
I would like to give you a chance to respond to Darren Till.
Honestly, man, I the more I hear from Darren Till, the more I actually like him. I think that he's hilarious. Like he's I think that at one point Darren Till was a world-class fighter, and now he's doing great on social media. I hope he can get a boxing fight with somebody or something like that. I think he's trying to do the influencer boxing thing, but I mean, I don't think it's really. I think everybody knows at the end of the day what I would do to that guy. It would not be good for him. So it doesn't really matter, but I think he's hilarious. I think that if me and him were hanging out, we'd probably, be bros. He seems just like a bro, but he's got to get his attention and yeah, it's all good though. I think he's probably actually like a nice guy. I can see that, behind the crazy talk, does seem
behind
like
the keyboard.
I'll admit his Instagram, like during COVID, was one of my favorite things to just watch unfold. It was
unreal.
Great.
Yeah,
it was wild. The fans want the cooking show. They want the video collab with Bo and Volk.
I actually talked to him about it. What was it? UFC, I think maybe 285 or 290. I can't remember which one it was. He was main event against Yair. And I was like, bro, we got to collab, and we'll make it happen at some point. Obviously, a little tough him being in Australia, but we'll have to we'll throw down on the Barbie, get a little
awesome.
meat on the fire for sure at some point. So yeah, he's a cool dude though. Volk, he's the man.
He is the man. One last one for me, Bo, and then girl, if you have anything else, and dude, we can talk to you forever. We really appreciate you and your time, like always, Bo. I think it was a year ago, maybe 18 months ago. I want to know if you're on that same brain length of. I remember you saying that you and Chimaev, you think could sell out a football stadium. Maybe here, I thought it was in Las Vegas. I think it was that Raider Stadium. Do you still think in 2027, 2026, that's the matchup? That's the one that's going to get 70,000 people, maybe two undefeated monsters, middleweight division championship on the line. Do you still think that is the fight?
100%. I think that the only thing that makes me nervous about it is, this matchup he's got with Whitaker. It's a tough matchup. I don't have a dog in the fight. The only thing that makes me want Chimaev to win is I would love for when we match up, both of us to be undefeated. I think that's, as you mentioned, a few years down the road. I need to get some more wins under my belt and some more experience, but I do believe that will be an absolutely insane fight. And there's no doubt in my mind that we could sell out 70,000 seats in Vegas in Raider Stadium. I've been selling out crowds and putting 20+ thousand seats, fans in seats throughout my entire college career. Even when I was a kid, I would have wrestling matches at local tournament and I'd have hundreds of people crowding around my mat. And so for whatever reason, people have always kind of gravitated towards watching me and things like that. And I think that as I continue to build my reputation in MMA and put on amazing performances and start to, compete against the top guys, get finishes against the top guys, that, I'm going to keep building that following. And that'll be, in my mind, one of the most exciting fights possible, because not only do you have two elite competitors, but ideally, two undefeated guys who have a crazy style, and you have, this Russia versus America wrestling battle that would be, definitely easy to market. And I feel like that's something I'm thinking about almost every day in training. That's why I push myself as hard as I do. It's not because I want to win this next fight. It's because I'm training for my 5th, 6th, 7th title defense. That's what's on my mind. And it's not too far off at this point. I have to win a couple more fights and we'll get there, I think, fairly shortly.
Love it. I love it. Hey, my son, my 6-year-old son, 7-year-old son, soccer, he's the ginger as well. So I appreciate you keep on pushing that ginger ninja momentum.
Make gingers cool. Make gingers cool.
Yeah, make gingers cool.
Let's do it.
I love it. Well,
sure.
Guys, anything else for Bo? Absolute stud, absolute star. everything with your podcasting career and wrestling career. I know the shoot, everything that you touch turns to gold, Bo. So excited for you to keep on going and a middleweight championship in your sights in the future.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you very much. So, it was awesome chatting.
Thanks for coming on, Bo.
The legend, Bo Nickal. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Big fight, UFC 309 coming up soon. Bo Nickal and Paul Craig.
That's going to be a good one.
Dude, he talks so well.
Yeah.
He's
a
very well
cool guy. Very, very chill dude.
Very, very well spoken. Man with a plan.
I like I think the mindset is huge. We had a question about it from Julian at some point, but I think he kind of ended up answering it.
Yeah, he kind of touched upon it a bit.
You said, can he expound on the goal setting specifically, which I do think he brought up. So hopefully you got your answer, Julian. Sorry.
It's so true. Like, even I'll use me as the example because that's all I can really talk about, and I can't talk about other people. Like, I think as a general, and I think Americans are probably the worst on it. We're so dead set of the goal, like whatever all three of our goals are, right? Like, I hate talking for you, but if you want to be world champion, right? But what mixed martial arts has done for you in your life, you found your significant other who you love dearly, all the friends, think about all the connections you made, and then everything you've done with Fight Bananas. We went to Disneyland in California, goodness sake, on July 4th. Like, everything that mixed martial arts has brought to all of our lives. Like, sometimes we always think of like, this is where I want to be with an ESPN microphone in 10 years. It's like, this journey that we all had differently has been, at least for me, has been amazing, has been this, I wouldn't change it for the world. And it's like, I loved how Bo said that. It's like, yeah, the middleweight championship is my goal. It is for sure. But like, everything that I do is not for nothing. Like, everything, like my life is happening. And I kind of like where his mindset is a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a great matchup too. Cause somebody brought up, Sean Sterling brought up what he did to Hill and Ankalaev. Like, Paul Craig has been kind of the champ killer. Like, he's been that guy that loses to guys you don't think that you think he'll beat, and then beats guys you think will demolish him. So being able to go in and put away a guy like Paul Craig just raises Bo's stock exponentially, in my opinion.
And I know the Vieira name came up multiple times, though, and it was a great question. I don't think he goes backwards. To me, Vieira's backwards. Like, after he beats Craig,
he might be name value wise, but he shouldn't be skill wise. Rodolfo Vieira is a phenomenal grappler. That's just, I think the fight nerd in me just loves the idea of watching two ridiculously elite grapplers compete against each other. Because I think Rodolfo's wrestling is superior to Craig's. Maybe not his jiu-jitsu. No, his jiu-jitsu is pretty good too. But I think his wrestling is superior, So I think I think that would be a fun matchup. But you may be right. Maybe we never see that because Vieira is too far backwards for Bo.
No, I agree. The matchup's awesome. Like, it is fun, but like you said, I don't think the UFC is going to be like, they're going to see the poster with Paul Craig and then just say he, knocks him out or ground and pounds him, TKOs him in the first round. Like, they're not going to see that poster and then go backwards of another poster. Like,
who's your next, if you were matchmaking for the UFC, who's your next opponent for Bo?
A couple names. Two names come off my head. One, Chris Weidman. Huge name. Okay. A huge fight poster. I think it's a good matchup. And another one who just lost this past weekend, Brad Tavares. I think that's a great name, a good poster.
No, those are both great. I like that. Look at you. They should hire you.
All right, guys, have a good day. What a great show.
How do you want to do this? Do you want Grant to just come in and steal my chair?
He's just gonna pop right on next to you.
You want us both? Okay.
Oh, we are interviewing both of you, 1,000%.
Wow, L. Dawson, the superstar.
Oh,
dude,
boy.
I was so pumped. Like, and I know probably Elle's like tired of me saying this. Like, I feel like she's like a little sister. And when she got all that attention that night, I was like, oh my goodness, I was like so happy.
And she looked hot AF.
Oh,
I can't say that. Nope.
I can say that.
He's like, I will not be saying that. All right, I'll slide over. Grant's gonna slide in next to me.
Slide into them DMs.
Everybody else is sliding.
No, she's got plenty of that.
Can you guys sit next to each other with
we'll make it work. All right. Grant's like pissing me off with the frame.
Are we slow clapping?
Hey, Grant.
Why are we slow clapping?
The interview we have all been waiting for, says Andrew.
Oh, no.
Look at that, dude. What's up, Grant?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Looking
Dude,
great.
I know.
Looking
look
like
at
you weren't even in a fight.
Yeah, that's how I hope every single fight from here on out goes.
Now
Barely got hit.
let's get the funny stuff out of the way, because I mean, you had an incredible performance and we were able to see you really just like perform the way that I think you wanted to, you know, like you really displayed incredible technique and performance. But that fucking post-fight interview, dude, I'm hearing people say that it is up there with my balls is hot. Like that's what like I'm hearing that. I'm hearing that.
That's a big compliment. I will say though, people are have very big recency bias. So I will say I think that people are kind of sick and tired of the I'm gonna destroy this guy and I'm the best thing since sliced bread. And I think people are just tired of that. At least with me, you know, I don't talk a whole lot of trash, but everything I say, I mean.
Yeah.
Grant, we talked 5-6 days ago. We broke some UFC cards. I need to go get another box. It's like my favorite thing to do. I love doing it with you. And we kind of talked mostly off air about it, but we talked a little bit air about it of like, what do you think you will say? And this kind of you know what I think of you. You are one of the funniest people that I know. And sometimes I don't think the UFC sees that. And you kind of talked about it a little bit. And we talked to Elle about it. Like, did you know that's where you were going? Did you have this speech planned? Did a lot of it come off the thing? Like, and afterwards, your post-fight interview, all that stuff, the media stuff, you were funny throughout the whole thing. It did seem you're like, okay, I'm letting myself go here. I'm being Grant Dawson to the world now. And everyone absolutely loved it. So I know I threw a lot at you there, my man. My fault. Bad host there. Did you know what you were going to say after your win?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had an idea. I had two routes that I wanted to go down, and it really goes off of what you and I talked about. I don't know if you remember what we talked about before we got on air with being funny and, you know, going down, which road do I want to go down? Do I want to go down this road as the funny guy, or do I want to go down a road that people take seriously on like a fear standpoint almost, you know, which I know sounds kind of weird, but so yeah, I had two speeches kind of in my head. And I just went with the one that felt right. There was a guy outside of the cage, and after I won, he was just screaming my name until I looked at him and he said, "Say something crazy on the mic." And I was like, "All right, bro, I got you. Like, let's get after it." So, you know, I do, there still is a part of me that wants to play the other side of the fence, but I'm a very straightforward person. If I mean it, I'm going to say it, and that's the end of it.
Well, I thought you teetered the line perfectly, because
me too.
like you were funny for sure, and you could tell it was off the cuff, and then but you also got your point across of like, listen, like I was the first person to finish this man, like, and then you kind of listed your accolades, and it's like it was like a good combination of I'm hilarious and I'm dangerous, you know.
Like
so
Volkanovski, like I think Volk does that very well too. Like he was the pound for pound best fighter alive. All of us thought that. Like we all respected Volkanovski, but he was funny. Like he was funny through most of his championship run, and that's what like I so wanted out of you. Like, dude, I think you are one, or if not the best UFC lightweight, best lightweight on this planet. I think that about you. I wouldn't like. I think that about you. I have that in for you, but I still think you are amazingly a real funny guy. You're very quick. You're dry. You're a funny dude, and you're an easy guy to talk to. And it's just like you can do both. You're the best lightweight in the world. You're also amazingly funny. You know, I think that's great.
This is a great comment.
Extraordinarily humble as well. Good looking. I think you left good looking out of there.
Settle down. I have to ask, have you seen the DMs in Elle's phone at all? Have we dove deep into those together as a family?
I mean, They're only saying what I already know. So, no, I haven't looked in those, but
I'm not responding. I'm not even reading most of them.
Look,
So.
I have a very, very strict rule that I actually just implemented 5 minutes before walking in here is if you leave a nasty comment on one of my posts, I just block you and move on with my life.
Yep.
A couple of years ago, more than a couple, like 4 or 5 years ago, back when I still lived in Missouri, I got into a 4.5 hour long argument with a guy who had his profile on private, 13 followers. And we talked so much trash back and forth from each other. And it ended with him saying, I'm going to block you. And in 2 years, I'm going to unblock you and talk shit to you because I know you'll be cut from the UFC by then. This is 4 years ago. Still haven't heard from him, which is kind of weird. But that day I realized, I was like, what did I gain from this?
Mm-hmm.
What did I gain from talking to this dude? What did I gain from
letting him get you?
Wasting 4.5 hours of my life, which to be fair, I was pooping for 2 of them, but still 4.5 hours of my life gone for no reason with a guy that means nothing to me. So I made the rule. If you talk trash on my thing, I block you, I move on with my life. And you don't get to be a part of my journey anymore.
Exactly.
And you never were in my head. So that's my thing. And I would advise anybody going through this kind of stuff. If you aren't getting haters, you're doing something wrong. So enjoy the fact that you have them, block them, and move on.
Love it. Love it.
I love this.
Elle, this looks like it's for you.
What would
What
Elle
would
say?
Elle say if she had a post-fight interview?
Well,
honestly, Grant's got a pretty good dump truck too. So
hopefully you have one coming up in December. So
I've gotta figure out how to top his.
You gotta
It's not gonna be that good. So
you gotta bring your A game for that.
No, Elle, we gotta start rehearsing. Okay, we gotta start getting.
And I can't tell Grant what it's gonna be. Clearly,
no, we gotta start drafting this now for sure.
Get the think tank together.
I like it.
Something.
Throwing ideas around, something you got to go off of yours to hit. Yeah, something needs to happen.
Something.
This positivity. This dude can fight. He kicked butt last fight.
Heck
That's
yeah,
very true. Very true.
Man knows his stuff.
On a more serious note, so Dana White reportedly reevaluating the rankings. He's very upset with where all of the rankings are headed and how they look now. Do you think this is going to favor you at all? Like, do you think you're going to see a little switch up as to where Grant Dawson lies in the division?
I wouldn't be upset not being in the rankings. The upsetting part is 2 people that fight at different weight classes are in the rankings over me. If they said, look, there's a lot of good guys out there. So-and-so is on a 3-fight win streak with 2 finishes and an even better dump truck, then I would be like, okay, I get it. But that's just not the case. We got a guy who's fighting at 170 in the rankings who has verbally said multiple times, I am not coming back down to 155. Mm-hmm. I think he's even made a tweet before saying, take me out of the rankings. I'm not fighting at 55 anymore. And they just leave him in there. Is
Max still there?
Max is still there. Max is ranked number 8.
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje is ranked number 4 or 3, one of the 2. It doesn't make any sense. If you're going to have him in there, at least have him ranked higher than the guy he just beat to get in those rankings.
Yeah. And the dude's fighting for a featherweight title in a couple weeks. Like
it makes no sense. That's the only thing I'm upset about. Honestly, if you wanted to throw Jakar Close in there, if you wanted to throw who's on another good win streak, Nasrat in there, I would have no problem with those guys being ranked ahead of me. Good win streaks. Beat good guys, finishes. I'm in.
Just make it make sense.
Make it make sense. At least everybody in the top 15 should be competing in that weight class.
Yeah. Yep.
Good comment right here. They go, Grant, I love your work with Gamrock. Greetings from Poland. We got Poland watching
Poland
in the comments. Oh, this was a question we missed. Would you like BSD next? He's ranked 11th. He is 1 and 2 against ATT guys.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm really down for whoever. I think that BSD needs to take some time off, to be honest, but that's his prerogative, not mine. I'm definitely down for that. We're looking for Jakar Close. We're looking for Jalen Turner. We're looking for those guys, but I'm in. Whoever's going to get me closer to that belt. I'm making way too much money right now not to be fighting tough guys.
I got a good one for you, Grant. I a lot of the off-air stuff I want to keep off-air, so I'm trying to say this the right way. Like, would you rather be a main event of a fight night and have that poster and kind of be like, okay, I want that again. Like, I want that again, and almost maybe one wrong make right, in if that sense, and kind of have the machine behind you. I'm the main event. I'm doing all the interviews. I got it. Or would you want to kind of do what you just did? You're on the main card, big fight, big spot. Even if it's an Apex card or a fight night in another city, or even a pay-per-view like with Selecki, would you rather be a fight on the card, or would you want another crack of, I want my damn face on the poster, I'm the main event, come through me?
Yeah, it's got to be main event, man. I live my life trying to make 8-year-old me and 50-year-old me proud. And the fact that I think 8-year-old me being like, holy crap, we were a UFC main event. I think he's proud. Now we got to get that win. We got to make 50-year-old me proud and be like, yeah, I got that main event spot back. I definitely need to get ranked to be able to jump into that type of spot, but I'm down for the 5 rounds. I'm down for the interviews. A lot of people tried to make excuses for me. A lot of people tried to say, maybe I wasn't used to the interviews. Guys, it was none of that. I felt great that night. I had the smoothest weight cut I've had. In the back, I wasn't even really, I was more nervous fighting Garcia than I was fighting Bobby Green. So, and that's real. I'm not making that up. It's just, that's the way it was that night. I felt good. I just zigged when I should have zagged, got caught. It's all good. Let's move on. I'd love to get that main event spot back and be able to show that the UFC can put me in these high-level fights against these high-level guys with all the eyes, all the media, everybody looking at me, and I'm going to put on a show.
Hell yeah. I love that.
I know you were just doing some interviews beforehand, definitely with some friends of ours, which is super cool. I don't know if you knew this or kind of been on your phone for the last couple of hours. Looks like a retired fighter is coming back to the UFC lightweight division. How about Grant Dawson versus Cowboy Cerrone fight night main event?
I'm definitely in on that. Donald Cerrone was one of the guys that we wanted to get before he retired. He's got to be able to make 55 though. I'm not going up to 70 to fight him. And he looks great right now.
I think he said he wanted to do a 55, a couple, 1 or 2 and 55.
Yeah, Donald Cerrone says a lot of things.
Yeah.
he's got it, like he said, he's got to get off the steroids and piss clean first.
He did say he pissed clean.
Oh, nice.
I don't mind any of that. I don't care about that. Yeah. This dude named his son Danger. I'm not taking anything he said. I'm taking everything he says with a grain of salt.
Wait, I did not know that. That's fact.
Yeah, that's fact. His son's name is Danger.
Bro.
Does he have another one? Isn't it?
Yeah, I think his name's Safety. Balance each other out. Balance each other out.
Yeah, but I was trying to think of a joke. I couldn't be quick.
Grant Dawson. I'm telling you guys, this is him. This is the real guy. Everyone's been like, "Oh, Grant's changed." Like Colby Covington changed. Like, no, this is Grant Dawson.
People said that about Moicano, but Moicano just became himself in public.
So funny to me, where it's like Moicano's changed. It's like, into the guy he actually was.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, it's just. I think it's hard because I think there's nothing more. Insecurity, there's a better word for it, but like there's nothing more about 100% being yourself and be like, hey guys, I like professional wrestling and I like the movie Predator and I'm really scared of Bigfoot. There's really some like hard stuff of like really telling the people who you really, really are. And I think, dude, you are in one of the most masculinity type of things you can do. You literally, did I butcher that wrong?
Yep.
That's all good.
Masculinity, you know what I mean? You fight another human being in a cage with shorts on. That's all you do. It's for you to kind of be like, hey, I am funny. This is really who I am. I do think it honestly takes time and takes, kind of cracks at it. And I'm so pumped that this is we're getting it. We are getting it.
Yeah, I mean, it's finally paying off. And I'm just going to be me. I'm a guy that loves to fight, loves to play children's card games, I love my wife. That's who I am, and I think I'm done hiding that. And there's really nothing any fan or critic could say about me that my dad didn't say about me when he found out that I play Yu-Gi-Oh. So honestly, we can move on from that,
That's fantastic. I love it. Well, Grant, I'm so happy that the world is finally seeing what a lot of us have known for a while now. And it's really cool to see you get your flowers this weekend, because I think it's only up from here.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part is figuring out what I'm going to say after my next fight now.
Exactly. Good luck on that one.
Everybody's tuning in. I got like 50,000 people waiting to hit follow, but they're like, we're going to wait till the next one. See if this is a one.
I have no doubt you're going to come up with something fantastic.
Oh, I hope so, man. And let's just hope it's as funny as the last one, and hopefully not slightly racist.
Isn't like Empire Strikes Back is the sequel, right? Empire Strikes Back is one of the best. So you got to, the sequel. It's got to be good. Terminator 2.
Terminator 2.
You call me a nerd for like an Empire?
Nerd.
Hey, he's a geek. Get it right.
Okay, fine.
If you're going to insult him, at least do it properly.
Do it correctly.
I said masculinity wrong. Make fun of that.
Masculinity.
That's more wrong, right? Gee whiz. I
that's
talk
more
for a
wrong.
Talk for a living. All right. Well, incredible weekend. Doesn't get much better than that. Not even just a win, but everything, of course, comes with it. I guess my last thing on this thing is, going forward, are you like the word is not excited, but like, are you cannot wait for that next one? And I don't want to say the next one has to be a big one, but to me it does. Like we talked about it before you guys came on, before you were on the show, Grant. Like you came up, it's like, dude, I had 3 names for you. Like to me, there can only be 3. I'm not even putting close in that. I think you're above him. I know you kind of been saying his name a couple times this past weekend, so I'm going to listen to you more than me. But there's only 3 names, and they're all huge, big names, big headlining names. It's got to be something big ahead, Grant. Got to be.
What are the names you have?
Pimblett, Turner, Hooker.
Yeah, I'm in for all 3 of those. Obviously, Hooker would be my number 1 pick because he's the highest ranked. My number 2 pick would be Jalen Turner. Everybody and their dog wants to fight Paddy Pimblett. I think Paddy's a lot better than the fighters give him credit for, but I think he's a lot worse than the fans give him credit for. I'm tired of hearing people call out Paddy. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to jump on that horse. We saw Matt Favola every single fight calling out Paddy Pimblett, and now he kind of looks like an asshole because he got finished twice in a row. So I'm really not looking for, if they offer it for sure, I'm not calling out Paddy Pimblett. I'd rather fight Jalen Turner. The people know how good Jalen Turner is. The people know how good Dan Hooker is. I think they do a lot more for my ranking career than somebody like Paddy Pimblett.
I was going to say that with that being said, like, don't you think, and I would assume the Pimblett fight, not the ranking career, but everything else, the socials, you'll be on a mega pay-per-view, probably in England, right? Like you would be this American bad guy, underdog, all this stuff, whatever you want to say. You would be Rocky Balboa, right? Like that win, I think Hooker's up there because he's a big name. He's messing around with Conor McGregor in Spain for some reason. But I do think the Paddy Pimblett win, like, dude, we're running. Like Grant Dawson is running right now, a 4-minute TKO dominating fashion of Paddy Pimblett, bloodying him up. Oh my good. We're on the rocket ship. We're on the Elon Musk rocket ship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who?
There's
Elon Musk?
Elon Musk. I don't know what I thought you said.
I thought you said Eon.
I think you said Eon too.
Elon Musk's muskets. Everything you said is correct. There's things you left out though. If I fight in England, I'm going to get taxed twice on my paycheck. If I fight in England, I've got to worry about judges that aren't going to take me seriously because he's the hometown guy. If I fight in England, I've got to worry about them doing rehydration
pulling a Frenchie,
pulling
you
know,
like
you're, and look, I want to be champion of the world, not champion of the Apex. So if that's what shows up, that's fine. All I'm saying is there are pros and cons to both. I think that Patty's an easier fight than both of those guys that we just mentioned, but I really feel like in the long run, beating a Jalen Turner, beating a Dan Hooker does more for me. You know what? I'll put Jalen Turner and Patty Pimblett on the same level because Turner's coming off of a loss. But other than that fact, Dan Hooker would be my number one because he's the highest ranked. Yeah. He's literally one fight away from a title shot. I truly believe that, which is absolutely insane if you ask me. But
when did that happen?
What's that?
When did that happen?
That's crazy. Well, and that's the scary part about our sport is you got a guy like Gamrot that's been putting in all this work. There are 3 guys that nobody wants to fight in the UFC, and Gamrot's called out and beaten all 3 of them. No title shot. He loses. He does the UFC a favor, steps up on short notice, flies to Perth, loses a close split decision that a lot of people, myself included, thought he won, and now he's another, God forbid, 3 years away from his dream of becoming a world champion. And he literally was the backup fight for Volkanovski versus Islam. So he was literally the backup fight for a title fight. And now he's not getting a title shot because of some bad judging, you know?
Well, I see Elle texting you that you guys got to go. So let's run.
No, they're good. I was checking another message. I do have to go, but I got to go train at 4:00. So
I love it. Is Gamrot doing something in Tampa towards the end of the year? Is that happening?
I have not heard. I
haven't heard anything either.
I have heard big news about some big fights coming up though. So that's nice.
Woo woo.
All right. We'll talk to you in 2 minutes off air, guys. That's the Fight Bananas exclusive. You got to pay for that one. No, Grant, man, we're so happy for you, dude. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina. My grandparents are there, and they're like, "What? You know?" I was like, "Yeah, I like that guy. He's a friend." And then everything with Elle, Susie's like, "Oh yeah, Elle's family. All this stuff is coming together." And then watching you do what you do, and then you talk about Elle. They show Elle on ESPN. It was just like, yeah, it doesn't get better than that, man.
It was a good week.
Awesome, man. I'm glad everybody liked it. And man, I got to say that it's definitely been one of those on cloud 9 experiences. Usually when I get done fighting, it's one day of feeling good about myself. And then I honestly kind of go through a slight depression afterwards. So, but it hasn't happened yet. I'm feeling really good. I'm so happy right now. I'm finally getting some recognition, and people are realizing how hot my wife is. So it's just
exactly.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Wins all around. Wins
for everybody. You get a win. You get a win.
What a solid show. Well, thank you for coming on, Grant, and awesome show today, guys.
The best show ever. Bo Nickal, Jessy Jess, Joe Giannetti, Elle Dawson, Grant Dawson. I said Bo Nickal, Maddie Levine, and I guess myself. I guess I can throw myself in there. Crazy.
I guess.
All right. We'll see everyone next Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll get some more jokes off air with Grant Dawson. There you go. See you guys then.
Bye.
Bye, guys.